In India today, there's this quiet tension you can feel almost everywhere, in families, in schools, even at work. It's this constant conversation happening between two languages, English with its global power, and Hindi, the language that feels like the nation's cultural heartbeat. So in this explainer, we're going to explore that. How do we find the balance?
And that brings us to this question. Wow, it's a heavy one, isn't it? For a lot of people, it brings up this pang of sadness, this real worry that Hindi is somehow being left behind. And that, right there, is the heart of the dilemma we're driving into today. So yeah, let's start right there. Let's talk about that feeling, that sense that a language so core to who we are might just be getting lost in the shuffle of modern life.
So you've kind of got two sides to this coin, right? On one side, you have people who feel like Hindi is being actively avoided. But then there's the other argument, that English isn't really a choice anymore. It's just necessary. Let's dig into that second point first.
You just can't ignore the practical reality on the ground. English has woven itself so deeply into the fabric of modern Indian life, and for some very, very clear reasons.
Think about it. English is pretty much the language of higher education, right? It's the key that unlocks so many job opportunities, and it's the bridge we use for global communication. Especially if you live in a city, it's become this essential tool just to get through the day. So it's not really about a dislike for Hindi, it's more about a practical, real-world need for English.
Okay, so if English is the tool, then Hindi's the heartbeat. It carries something so much deeper than just day-to-day communication. We're talking about the language of our culture, our emotions, our identity.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's not just about getting a point across, it's about carrying culture and feeling. And that's why it's so damaging when a language gets tied up in ideas of status, or when people worry that speaking Hindi might make them seem, less educated. Language is so much more than that.
Just take this word, ma. Sure, the translation is mother. But does it feel the same? Not really. For millions of us, this word carries a warmth, a depth of emotion that the English version just can't quite touch.
And what about this one? Pyaar, love. Again, the translation is simple, but the cultural feeling, that resonance, is so profound. The word itself feels different. It holds a completely unique place in our hearts.
See, what this all boils down to is that Hindi isn't just a collection of words. It is a direct line to our roots, to the stories our grandparents told us, to our oldest memories. It's a huge part of who we are. So we have this practical case for English, and this incredibly deep, emotional case for Hindi. It feels like they're in a fight, right? But what if that's the completely wrong way to think about it? What if the goal isn't to choose one over the other, but to connect them? This is the first really big shift in thinking we need to make. The idea that you have to pick a side, that you have to choose one language over the other, it's a false choice. Because the real solution is right here. It's about embracing both languages and understanding the unique power that each one brings to the table. And that right there is what we call the bilingual advantage. Knowing both Hindi and English doesn't make your identity weaker. It actually expands it. It gives you the power to connect with way more people and to express yourself more completely. I love this story because it just completely shatters the myth that Hindi is somehow old-fashioned or outdated. It proves that when you use it with confidence, Hindi isn't just understood. People really appreciate it. They see it for what it is, elegant and beautiful.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we put this into practice? Well, let's talk about a new attitude, a new path forward that lets us have progress and pride.
It really starts with something simple, just using Hindi confidently, without feeling like you need to apologize for it. When enough of us do that, it starts to chip away at that wrong perception that it's somehow less than, and finally, we promote it with pride, not by forcing it on anyone, but just by making people feel good about using it. And this sentence just sums up the whole idea perfectly. It's beautiful. English is an incredible tool for progress in this big, globalized world we live in. And Hindi, that's the language of our identity, our soul, our pride. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. It's not about throwing one away for the other. Real maturity is about holding on to the beauty and the emotion of your mother tongue, while at the same time grabbing on to other languages as tools for your own growth. And that kind of leaves us with a much bigger question to chew on, doesn't it? This whole idea of both and, of blending the old with the new, it doesn't just stop at language. You can apply it to every part of life. So how do we carry the best parts of our heritage forward with us as we build the future we all want? Definitely something to think about.